time you're seeing this lifestyle that he's showing you, the clubbing, the partying, the yacht, like the everything, and then it was a lot different behind closed doors. That was the beginning of the end.
You called the cops on me in my own fucking house. I can't believe I dated that bitch for the past 2 years, bro.
That is the tactic he used on you throughout the entire relationship.
Yo, it's going, her tears going right between her tits. Look at that.
What happened to the guy?
He's such a disgusting
that
human.
made me feel safe in the beginning. When was the beginning of the end? Like, when did everything change? It's okay.
Oh, God. What is it? How do I put my, like...
As you guys can see from the intro of this video, this is not like one of my regular podcasts. Before we start this podcast, I do want to say there will be no monetization off of this podcast. There will be no AdSense. I do not want to make a dime off of McKinley's story. It is not my story to tell. I will not be speaking for a lot of this podcast because I feel as if it's not my place to speak.
Am I, like, rough as fuck?
We will be partnering with an organization to be able to help women who don't have the resources to help themselves. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to one of my bestest friends in the whole wide world, Miss McKinley Richardson.
I don't know, Red Cupid.
As you guys can see from the title of the video, this will be about your past relationship with Mr. Jack Doherty. And I want to give you the opportunity to be able to completely tell your truth and your...
Just really quickly, I'm going to do a speed up and see what people are comfortable with. And then we want captions, right? Oh, captions are unavailable. Why would they do that? Okay. So let's just go all the way to 2.
Story. And I just want to say, like, I'm beyond... grateful that you are willing to come on my podcast and share it with everybody. And I want you to know that I love you so much.
I love you.
And don't make me cry.
I know I'm already.
But let's start at the beginning. How did you meet him? How did you meet Jack Doherty?
So I was living part-time in Vegas and LA as well. I was doing work, modeling, and I loved social media because I moved around my entire life. Social media was my avenue of making friends, and I had many friends in LA.
Yeah.
One of them being Sam Frank, who is mutual friends, with Jack.
Yeah.
So we ended up talking. I was in a very vulnerable state at this time. I didn't have a lot of friends because I just moved to Vegas, and I went to high school in Seattle, so I knew nobody. So social media was my avenue, like, fully. I had nothing else other than that. And she was kind enough to let me into her apartment and stay at her place. This is in LA.
Okay.
Yeah. I was making money. I was, brand deals very wishy-washy. I would have, a day where I would make $1,000, and then, other days it would be lower. And I had, some sort of independence, but it was still something I was working towards. Social media was something that I've always been passionate about. When I was little, I was always filming videos. I was creating skits. My brother and my family were always in my little movies I made. So this was something I was extremely passionate about. So being there, I was working. I was modeling for brands. I was working with different photographers. And she ends up coming back to her apartment. She was out of town at the time when I was staying. And she came in and she basically told me, hey, my friends from Florida are in LA, and they were wondering if you would like to film a video, a social media video. At the time, I didn't know who Jack was. I didn't know who any of them were. But, I took that as an opportunity. I was like, I'll film a little video. Like, sounds fun. I ended up going to the house that they were staying in the hills, and they were very inviting. I mean, the girls, they were there and they were talking to me. His employees were talking to me, but Jack wasn't really, involved in any of our conversations. He was more so, when I remember him in LA, he was just in his phone constantly, separated from everybody. But, like, I loved the people around him, and they were very, very inviting. I had great conversations with them. So I was having a good time. The videos that we filmed were quick and easy. At the time, I also didn't really understand the whole, like, OnlyFans aspect of it. I assumed, people have their content houses, and that was something that was very popular at that time, especially. So I was assuming, this is a group of people, they're from Florida, and they're having so much fun, like, as friends, they film videos together, that's their way of making their income. Until, I realized that the way they did make their money was through OnlyFans. And that was something that I didn't judge them for. I was, aware that they were doing that, but that was something I knew that I didn't want to do for myself. So, my parents were worried about me involving myself with people that, do that because you are who you surround yourself with. And, like, at that time, my parents, I'm from Georgia, so very conservative. I grew up conservative. I grew up in church. So that was something that would be brought to me through other social media managers. Even
I just want to immediately point out, for those who, like, aren't really, I guess, I have a background in communications, and, like, hey, streamer, how are you? And it's, like, a big thing that I kind of, like, overanalyze. Right off the bat, you can already tell that she is this is a very genuine and, like, true version of events from her experience, it just is flowing so naturally and feels very authentic. Like, right off the gate for me. Just, I'm prejudging, but that's just what it feels like. It feels like this is someone who is really broken and hurt, and this is a way that she feels best to maybe get some closure and probably some healing. That's just my thoughts.
When I was underage, I was 16, yeah, and I would have certain social media managers and people talk to me about not OnlyFans, but different types of platforms that I could post on and get away with it when I was younger. So that was something I was very, very negative opinions. I didn't want to do it. So I told my parents, I was like, don't worry about it. Like, I have a good head on my shoulders. I'm not that type of person that's like, oh, I'm going to do this and then do this completely different thing. I was very, that's just how I felt about it. But his employees, they would come up to me while I was there and they said, hey, would you ever do OnlyFans? Like, you would kill it. And I was like, no, absolutely not. That's something I promised myself I wouldn't do. No matter the amount of money, nothing. I just wouldn't do it.
I'm sorry. So were his employees, like, were all the girls that were hanging out there like Sam, and I don't know, maybe
Sam, Grace, and Michelle
were they
there.
So they made it clear that they managed these girls, or they
They did not to me. It was very like unspoken, but like I kind of put the pieces together when I was there. I was just kind of like assuming that they had OnlyFans girls that were friends with them and that they filmed with them, not that they were involved in making money with them. But I didn't know anything about that at the time, especially like OnlyFans management. I had no idea there was even a thing. Like, I thought you just made an OnlyFans and, you know, people with social media would make money, but I didn't know there was a whole back end of things. But instantly when I shut it down, the whole OnlyFans talk with his employees, I was like, just don't bring that up to me again. Even Sam, my friend at the time, was like, don't even like, don't ask my friend those questions, because she knew how I was. And like, she's like, that's actually offensive. And don't ask her anything about OnlyFans because she's not doing it. And they didn't ask me anymore, but they were like, well, let me know. Like, let me know if you want to. Again, at this time, I'm like, absolutely not. I ended up going back home to Vegas after that week of being there. I was hanging out with them every day for that week. I didn't stay at the house, but I was just hanging out with all of them. And they told me that they loved me and that they want me to come to Florida. I wanted to go, but at the time especially, it was tight. Like, I was like, I just went to LA. I spent a lot of money on Ubers and food. Like, I remember telling them, like, I need to get my money up first. Like, I need to go home and work and just stay home. But maybe like one day I'll come to Florida, because they were very, very sweet to me. Like, the girls especially, I was like, oh my gosh, like, finally I have like a good group of people around me. They're fun. They film videos. It's what I'm passionate about. Like, maybe we can like be a good friend group, because it was nothing like, usually, you know how like people are in this industry. It's like, they're not super inviting. Right. They're very like standoffish. And that was absolutely not the case with these people. I ended up going back home, and while I'm home in Vegas, I start getting texts, not from Jack, but the people that worked for him, like his cameraman and the girls especially. They would FaceTime me in the club and be like, you need to be here. Like, I miss you so much. Like, how are you? I miss you. And I remember telling my parents, I was like, these people are so sweet to me. Like, they're so nice. I want to go visit them. It was spring break. I had never been to Miami. I'd never been to the side. And I was excited because they just kept saying how much fun we would have. And I'd never been to a bar or a club in my life. And I was 20 years old. So Jack ended up DMing me because I was telling them basically, you know, like, I want to really bad, but I don't.
Again, I know I'm like making sort of like a pre-judgment or pre-assessment, but she's so innocent. And like, that's what I think makes me so sad for the girls that end up in these situations where they end up with a man who feels like they own them. They just strip them of so much innocence and like and pureness, if that makes sense to you. Like, if y'all know what I mean by that. There's just such like an innocence about her and like pureness of like, I mean, she was 20 years old and had never even been to a fucking bar or club. Like, I'm sorry, what? Bitch, I was going to clubs at 16 years old. Like, doing the most.
I want to go down there and have to like, you know, figure out a way to eat or like,
yeah. You knew it was gonna be expensive.
I knew it was gonna be expensive, and I also didn't really know what I was gonna be walking into. I was like, I don't know where I'm gonna stay. Like, right. I can't afford a place to stay. So I was asking, you know, Michelle. I was like, the only way I'm staying is if you're there and I'm staying in the same room as you, because I didn't want to go to a random house with random people being there, and I don't know. I was just uncomfortable, especially knowing, you know, the whole OnlyFans aspect of it. I was like, I would like a girl there to be with me, you know.
Especially given the last time guys asked you if you want to start an OnlyFans. So it was kind of like,
yeah,
when they're texting you, that goes on in your head, like, what?
Exactly.
The girl's also staying in the house. It's a valid question.
And that's what I was under the impression of, especially going to LA. I was like, there's such a tight-knit group. I feel like they probably have a house all together and that they live together. So I texted Michelle. I basically just wanted to make sure that she would be at the house and that we could stay in the same room, because I didn't really know these people. I hung out with them for a week, but still, like, I just wanted to make sure the girl that I was talking to the most would be there, because, you know, I didn't want to be alone, especially in that space. But later on, I found out that when I had texted her that I wanted to stay with her, she sent that to Jack, and then Jack said, the only bed available is mine. But at this time, Jack and I were not even on talking terms. We didn't even have each other's phone number. This came out later on. One of his ex-employees that left him, he actually posted it. And I would have never known, like, he said that he was, like, interested in me sharing a bed with him after not even having, like, any conversation. Yeah. I don't know.
First of all, one who says that, because you're not even, like, talking to the girl.
Right. Later on, one of his ex-employees that left him, he actually posted it. And I would have never known, like, he said that he was, like, interested in me sharing a bed with him after not even having, like, any conversation. Yeah. I don't know.
First of all, one who says that, because you're not even, like, talking to.
Also, I'm going to make another, like, prejudgment or assessment, and, like, I understand this might not be a crowd favorite. I am under the firm belief that Jack Doherty is a homosexual man, and the reason that men like him, and himself included, do what he ended up doing to her is because they are so angry with themselves because they're incapable of being who they are or expressing themselves or living in their truth, that they take this shit out on people that they're dating, and it almost primarily is always women. I think Jack Doherty is a fucking piece of shit, and yeah, let's proceed.
Girl.
Right.
Two, why you found out through social media? Like, why wouldn't Michelle just tell you?
I don't know. There were many things, you know, I feel like I do ask myself certain things, like, why didn't people step in or say, hey, this happened? But also I do know, like, the power and control he has over people. So I honestly have no ill will towards anyone really in that house. And in that moment, you know, like, I wouldn't have known his control over anybody because I wasn't involved in the situation. Like, I didn't know the dynamics. I didn't know if he was close to Michelle. I didn't know, you know, if Michelle was closer to him than me.
So yeah, I guess she just met you, so I guess you didn't need to, like, owe you anything. So what happened after? So you
Dober
you
loved
flew there.
that part.
I did. So I said that I couldn't afford to get there. So he ended up DMing me since he didn't have my phone number and I was in contact with the rest of the people in the house. He was like, do you really want to come to Florida? And I was like, I do, but I just, you know, I don't have the money. I don't have, you know, I want to, but I just feel like I can't right now. And then he told me I won't have to worry about anything at all, even like food. So, you know, I don't want to be that type of person to, like, be, you know, just dependent on somebody. But I also knew, you know, like, I have money. I'm able to get myself Uber Eats if I need to. I'll just go for a week. And I told my parents I was going to go. They were worried. They really were, because they were like, you don't even know these people. Like, and I was like, trust me, like, they're so sweet. They don't try to get me on OnlyFans. Like, they just want me there. Now that I've left the situation and it's been so long, I now realize that I don't know if they were looking for true friends. And I think it was almost a business opportunity, you know, for me to start OnlyFans. And I don't want to think that, but that's not how I felt in that moment. I felt like these people genuinely cared about me. And that's what was really, I was gravitating towards that. So I end up, he buys me a plane ticket. I leave a few days after and I get to Florida. It's my first time in Miami. And when I got to the house, there was only one person there and it was a guy. And I had talked to him, like, a little bit previously, but it was nothing like what I was expecting it to be. I was expecting to walk into, you know, open arms and people excited to see me. And it wasn't that. It was just very confusing. And I was very uncomfortable with certain things that had happened. I don't really want to talk about that. But I was very uncomfortable. I distanced myself until someone got home to the house because there were no girls there. Jack wasn't even there. It was his employee.
Where were they?
I think they were getting alcohol, I'm pretty sure, because they were planning to go to Rock Bar, which is this club. But I locked myself in my room waiting for somebody to come home. I was, you know, just chilling.
Did you text them, like, hey, I'm here? Like,
I texted Michelle and said, hey, where are you at? And they ended up coming home not too long after that and just saying, we're going to Rock Bar, like, get ready, like, we're going to the club. And I was like, okay, like, what's Rock Bar? Because I had no idea. I remember telling them, you know, I've never been to a club or a bar in my life, and that was something that all the guys said was really hot. They were like, that's so hot that you've never been to a club or a bar, like, we're taking your bar virginity, like, things like that. Yeah, I never drank publicly. Like, that was something that was kind of...
Literally exactly what I just said. They stripped her of all pureness and innocence that she had, and that was their fucking goal. And that is the primary goal of people like Jack Doherty, is to find the most vulnerable, the most innocent, the most, who can I corrupt the most? Because in some weird fucking sadistic, twisted way, him and his little weird ass groupies get off on that shit. Because they're fucking disgusting.
Scary to me, especially in that moment. Like, I had drank before, obviously, like, in high school, and you'd have parties here and there, but this is something, like, completely different. But we ended up getting ready, going to Rock Bar, and for that entire week, it was just so fun, and it was positive, and OnlyFans wasn't brought up to me. It was just, you know, all of us drinking, and for the first time in my life, I drank heavily. And the same goes for everybody. I think, you know, we were all intoxicated, I think, for that
like
whole...
Also, maybe when you go into a situation and like, I'm not saying it applies to everyone. Like, I'm not saying this applies to everybody, but in a common situation, you drink to let loose to become better friends.
Absolutely. It was the icebreaker.
It was easy. It's easier to take a couple drinks, a couple shots, and then have a fucking conversation than it is to just enter, go to a bar and be like,
sorry, I'm going to keep stopping it. Can I just say really quickly, and I know that I'll probably say it again later, Camilla does such an amazing job of kind of meeting people where they are. And she's one of the most relatable people that I have seen with one of these podcasts. I would feel comfortable sitting down with her and telling her my deepest, darkest secrets. Like, she is that. It's the whole thing. It's the vibe. It's the attitude. It's the way she approaches it. It's with the relatableness. It's with the way she carefully like understands that this is a very fragile human. And I don't know. I love Camilla. I think I don't know everything about her, but like, as far as interviewing, I think she does an amazing job.
So, like, last time I saw, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, obviously everyone's gonna get...
Yeah, it was definitely the icebreaker to everything, and what I believe was the icebreaker with Jack and I, because we didn't have any conversations really before that. He was very quiet and, like, to himself. But once we started drinking, and that whole week that I was there, and he was, we were on yachts every day, and going to dinners, and then going to the club after dinner, and it was this repetitive thing that we kept doing. And every time Jack would drink, he would just, he would kiss me, and then he would say, like, you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. I know you're my wife because you don't do OnlyFans. He would tell me, I know you're my wife because...
Tell me if y'all get irritated because I stop it too much. I know y'all probably will. What she just said is exactly what I was explaining in the beginning. He would get too drunk, and then he would start kissing and touching her. And that is a very, very common thing in men who are in the closet. They have to get to that level in order to be able to do the things that she's talking about. They aren't able to do those things as like a sober man, because it's just not who they are. And it is a fucking like literal struggle for them to do it. And so because they internalize it so much, they become so angry, and they end up taking that anger out on...
My wife would never do OnlyFans. So that kind of stuck with me. I was like, he's supportive of me, and like maybe I could just be like a supportive girlfriend, and not do the whole OnlyFans thing. But at this time, I didn't know his involvement. I had no idea. Not at all. He was very private with everything. Even to this day, I don't know.
Was he like, so this whole yacht thing, like, is he... So you found him only talking to you when you guys were fucked up?
Yes, because we were drunk every day. Like, when I tell you, like, I haven't been through that, and even, like, now, like, I could never keep up with that. I don't know if it was because it was so new for me, and it was also kind of new for him. I had learned, because his brother and his parents would confide in, people that were closer to him, because I was new. They didn't really know me that well, but they were just really worried about his drinking, because they were like, that has never been a problem with him. Why is he doing it now? And I was just as confused, because I'm like, well, I'm not like this, so I'm not bringing this side out of him, because I don't drink. I don't do any of this type of stuff. But he would get so blacked out drunk, like, to the point of, like, not knowing where he is, forgetting everything, passing out. So anyways, I realized at this point, it's time to go home. I need to go home because I had a prior obligation for work, and it was going to Coachella. I was going with a brand. They flew me out, and it was my favorite brand. I'd worked with them like a few times before that, and I told Jack what I was doing. I told him I was going to Coachella, and he tried to get me not to go at first. He was like, why can't you just cancel it? And I was like, well, this is something, like, I really want to go to Coachella. I've never been before. A brand is flying me out. I'm working for them. I signed contracts. Like, I was really excited for it. I was pumped. But he just was like, I don't want you to leave. I want you to be here. I want you to be here.
So did you guys, like, would you say, like, you guys are talking now? Like, after, like, getting drunk, like, you guys would kiss? Would you wake up and be, like flirting with each other?
Not sober. It was a really weird situation. I feel like he was, we would drink every day, but then, he would take me to dinner, but he would be on his phone, kind of, like, in and out of, the conversations. But I was just like, well, maybe he's just shy. Maybe he's quiet, because everyone around me is telling me he really likes you. Like, I can tell he really, really likes you. And, as this is happening, I'm in the front seat of his car. We're, sharing a bed, and we had never done anything at all. And I kind of respected that. I was like, it's hard to find a guy, especially at this age, that doesn't try to do something with me. I've been used to, like, guys that, like, are very attracted to just doing something. And
sorry, I have two responses really quickly, just some comments. One, Taylor or Tay, I have vast amounts of experience with guys just like him from a very young age up until I was in my younger 20s. And what Megan just said, the start of trying to not let her do positive things for herself, it is because people like him hold themselves to such a high level and they think they are so much superior to everyone around them that they won't even allow you to think or even experience something that could unlock your greater potential, because they want to be the one to give you these opportunities or to give you put you in these situations so that they can hold that kind of control and power over you and say like, but I did this for you. I provided this for you. You would not have this if it wasn't for me. And that is textbook narcissistic. That is exactly what he is.
I think that's why,
he
it's just sexual attraction. And that was something that was a lot different. And I was like, well, maybe like I can start to get to know his more emotional side. And it was like a friendship. It started out with a friendship, but also at the same time when we would drink, he would confess his feelings and he would say how he felt about me. And I was like, well, people would tell me, his sober thoughts are his drunk words, so, again, that was his way of like, I guess, gaining confidence enough to talk to me. And then his friends, they would talk to me a lot more than he would directly, but they would always tell me what he would talk about, like saying like, I'm so pretty and like all this stuff. So that was like my validation.
Obviously you like...
Yeah, I'm starting to like him.
Right.
But within that first week, something horrible happened to me. He had a hometown friend there, that he had known. Staying with us in the house. Okay. He had just came from New York because that's where Jack is from. They apparently had went.
I am assuming that this is probably where we get to SA. So just a trigger warning for you guys. If this is something that is hard for you to deal with or an uncomfortable situation for you, please remove yourself and do not feel bad about removing yourself. I completely understand. And if you need to talk to somebody and you don't feel comfortable talking to me, I can guide you to someone, a like actual professional that you can just talk to as like a friend. Like, you don't have to pay for it or anything, but yeah, I just wanted to put that out there so you can leave the live if this is something that's triggering for you.
Do high school together. Mm-hmm. We went out this one night. Jack and I are obviously married together. Like we were hugging on each other, all over each other. Thanks. And I remember I remember came up to both of us and was like, you guys are so cute. Like, so he obviously knew he had a girlfriend, that was in New York as well, but he was here for spring break and just to, see Jack. He was very respectful, didn't really talk to me that much. We ended up going back home. We're, drunk. I wasn't as drunk as I would normally be because Jack was really drunk. And I would also make sure he was okay and make sure everyone got home safe. He had his jewelry on and I would even change him because he would be so intoxicated. So we ended up going to bed. And I just remember waking up and his hand was in my pants. I was in the middle of him and Jack. Okay. And I just felt so violated and scared. Like I had never been through a situation like that ever. And not knowing who it was. Like I just woke up to a dark figure in the room next to me, laying in bed with his hands in my pants. I woke up freaking out. I pushed him away from me and I'm like trying to tap Jack. And I'm like, Jack. And he's drunk as shit. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm pushing this guy off of me and he doesn't care. I turned to the side, like closer to Jack, and I'm like trying to tap him. I'm basically on top of Jack in his back. And he just is saying, I'm going to fuck you right now. And I woke him up and Jack woke up and I was like, get him out of here. Like, I don't know what to do. And he's trying to hump me from the back while I'm talking to Jack and Jack is awake. And Jack is like, bro, get out of here. Like, what are you doing? Go. And he was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm fucking her right now. And I was just shaking. I was crying. I was in shock. And he just gets up and leaves the room. And I stayed awake that whole entire night. Like, and Jack went to bed. And I just was like, there's no way that fucking happened to me right now. Like, I don't know what to do. I wanted to go home. But I was like, well, in the morning, like, I guess, like, Jack will remember. Like, like, what happened. We ended up waking up and he was ready to go out the door for breakfast. And this guy meets us there at breakfast. And I'm sitting across from him the entire time. I'm like, I couldn't even look at him. You didn't talk to Jack about it in the morning? I didn't talk to him in that moment. I didn't even see him that day. No, you didn't talk to Jack. You didn't say, like, do you remember what happened? Not at this point, because I thought he was aware. I thought Jack remembered what happened that night and that we would talk about it. And it wasn't brought up. And I was like, everyone was ready for breakfast. I'm around a group of people. He was just, like, in our living room. I also am like, I don't know what to say, to Jack, because, like, this is his hometown friend. This is horrible. Like, I can't believe he did that to me. And I can't believe he did that to Jack. Like, knowing that we were talking and I was laying in his friend's bed, he still came into the room and did that to me. So while we're at breakfast, I'm, like, holding my tongue. I'm like, I wish I talked to Jack before we fucking went to breakfast, because now I'm sitting across from this man who did this to me. I can't even, like, I was in my phone the entire time. I was like, so uncomfortable trying to figure out a way to like tell everyone I needed
Bless
to
her
leave without
heart,
causing a
dude.
scene. Because when you're in that situation, you don't know it. You don't know that you'll act that way, but like I was terrified to tell anyone. I felt ashamed, even though I had woken up with him doing that to me, and it was nothing in my control. I couldn't control that happening, but for some reason, like I felt uncomfortable telling anybody. But we ended up going back home, and I pulled Jack aside. I was like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, do you remember what happened last night? He was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I was like, he did that to me. Like, and I explained it in detail, and he was like, holy shit, I remember. He was like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. He was hugging me. I was emotional, and I could tell he was getting emotional. And I just remember him going outside and telling Logan, who was his friend that he worked with, and like all of the guys that were there. And I don't know what conversation they had with him, but from that day forward, I had never seen ever again. Like, Jack fully cut him off. He wasn't at the house at all. And it eventually came out like later on while Jack and I were dating for over a year. He had texted Jack and apologized and said that he was on drugs that night, and he was tested positive. And he said, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me.
Why are you texting Jack and apologizing to him when you essayed her? The fuck do you owe Jack an apology for? Fuck Jack. Jack didn't fucking do shit. Fucking homeboy went to fucking sleep. Why don't you... They're all fucking pieces of shit.
I was on drugs. I know. I don't know.
Fucking shit. Sick fuck.
I know.
That part.
So that was like a traumatic experience that I
Fucking
had
losers.
that I'd never been through. And Jack was the one person that was there that knew about it. That he was in the same bed as me, and he was there, and he comforted me. And I told him, I was like, I just want to go home. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm so uncomfortable.
Obviously.
And he was just like, no, like, you're amazing. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, this happened to you. I'm going to protect you. This will never happen ever again. Like, you're safe with me. Like, you can stay in my bed. You can be with me. You're going to be okay. So I think that was the initial, protective instincts that he showed me. And I guess the loyalty.
See, the problem I have with that, though, is that she was already in your bed, and she was already supposed to be safe with you. Period, point blank. Whether y'all were a couple, whether you just met her that night, whether you fucking met her 5 minutes ago. She was already there, and she should have been safe regardless. That is his way of manipulating her into fucking staying and building this rapport with her of fucking, I'm the savior, I'll protect you, I'll stand up for you. What the fuck is Jack Doherty gonna do? Who the fuck is scared of that little pipsqueak? He literally said, bro, what are you doing? Get out of here, and went to fucking bed. And I'm not blaming her. I'm saying, like, this is a tactic that people like him use to do what they do to women.
Even though he grew up with this person and knew him, and it was a childhood friend, even though, like, he did something so fucked up, like, he was really there for me in that moment.
Manipulation at its fucking finest.
So I ended up going back home and going to LA, and I went to Coachella. I still don't know what the whole situation was. I didn't tell my parents about the whole thing because, again, I felt disgusting. I didn't want to talk about it, and also I knew they were going to be like, you shouldn't be in that situation, but I knew that Jack felt different and would protect me now. Like, that's what I, was assuming, that he would never let anything like that happen to me ever again.
I think too, maybe like when something like, obviously like that is so incredibly traumatic to a point where like you bonded over that.
We
You
did.
get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not saying you bonded over the fact that it happened to you, but you bonded over the fact that he was one person that heard you and believed you and was there and saw it. So it's like, that's there's some form of like connection that's formed in that moment. It's really called a trauma bond.
Yeah.
Like, you form a...
The reason that he believed her is because this was not the first time that specific friend and the other friends around him had done this to other girls. Guarantee you. And that's the reason that he knew it was true. Just so we're clear. It wasn't because he sympathized or empathized with her.
This lifestyle that he's showing you, the clubbing, the partying, the yachts, the jewelry, like the everything. And then, you know what I'm saying? So like, first time something goes wrong, he immediately steps up to the plate.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So
every time I felt
like,
uncomfortable about a situation, he did do that for me. And I want people also to realize, I think a lot of people ask, like, why, if he was toxic in the beginning, why was I with him? But he wasn't. He was amazing. And I want people to know that, like, I didn't put...
God, I know y'all are going to get irritated with me stopping this, but that's exactly correct. He felt so fucking comfortable going into Jack's room, climbing in that bed with Jack laying there, because he knew there would be no consequences. Because he was just counting on his friend letting him do what he's probably done many times before. Bless her heart.
Myself in a toxic situation, but he was so different in the beginning. And I know like what people see of him online, like it's obviously negative and all this stuff, but that wasn't who I fell for. It was not that. It was a protector. It was a provider. It was someone that had respect for me and, you know, just made sure I was okay and opening the car door for me, taking me out to dinner. Very respectful.
Showing you a world of opportunities too.
Absolutely. And I also, on top of that, knew like everyone's passionate about the same thing. So like it couldn't get better. I was like, these people love social media. They do fun skits all the time. Like he was involving me in videos without having OnlyFans a little bit here and there. Like they would have like a little skit and then it was fun. And I would be like, oh, that was funny. And it had nothing to do with, you know, the whole OnlyFans side of things. But they did involve me in a little bit. But for the most part, that whole entire month of us hanging out with each other was just strictly clubs, yachts, drinking, dinner, fun. Like that was that. So I ended up going to Coachella. I had a great time, like so much fun because I was also like, you know, I have this group of people around me, a bunch of girls I was friends with and did a lot of things before I met Jack. That was kind of like my friend group, but it was like also for social media as well. They're very nice girls. So, Jack was in the back of my mind. I was like, I wonder what he's doing. But I did see that he was like with new girls. So I was like, like, I don't know if I'm going to go back to Florida. Like he seems to like be talking to other females and I didn't really know. It was very up in the air. We weren't really texting. And then when I came back from Coachella, the day after Coachella ended, he texted me. He had just been through, I guess, a bad time because he had gotten his Lambo, like the new car, and there was a huge flood in Florida.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, so that was like horrible for him at that time because his whole house was flooded. His car, he thought was totaled. A lot of people in the house's cars were totaled. So he was like, I really need you. Like, I want you to come early and I want you to come back because I need you. And I was like, wow, like, I wasn't expecting him to say that. Like, he needed me. Like, he was there for me. He was there for me when things went wrong. So, like, I want to be there for him. And I want to be able to support him through whatever he's going through. I know it was a hard time for him. He had lost his house. So, I ended up planning a trip back. My parents, again, they're like, McKinley, are you ever going to come back home? Like, are you like, you keep traveling? And I was like, listen, like, I'm just having the time of my life right now. Like, I'm having so much fun. I'm with people that love me and care about me. I go back to Florida and he bought my ticket. Again, I also want to say it was always one ways. It was always a one-way ticket. It was never a return flight back. So I would just, you know, it was up in the air. But
I mean, like he wouldn't buy you a
round trip. Yeah. So it was always like, let me just buy you a ticket and we'll figure it out as we go. And
that's what he said.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of where his head was at with things. I didn't really look at it like in a weird way. I was just kind of like
that's a control tactic.
Yeah.
I want to know that. I know you know that, but like,
yeah,
that's so clearly him just controlling when you go, where you stay.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's.
Yeah.
Camilla's so.
I mean, I get it. Like, I can't wrap my head around the fact that like, okay, you meet this new girl, you're like so obsessed, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to, you know, when you first meet somebody, you want to be around them 24/7.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get it. Like, oh, I just want her to stay. Like, I don't want her to go. I don't want her to go. Like,
right,
realistically, like, hey, do you have a commitment? Do you have something to do? Like, I'll buy you your flight back. Like, no worries. Like, what do you have to do? Like, but just, I don't know.
Yeah, at that time, I was looking at it as he wants me there, and like, but now, after everything, it makes more sense. He wanted me there. But I was on my flight, I had a red eye, and before I went on the flight, he FaceTimed me with the whole group of people. It was Michelle and like all these girls. And they were just like, I'm so excited to see you. Like, we're gonna have so much fun. We're going out to the club tonight. I hope you have a safe flight. I'll see you in the morning. And I was like, you guys have fun. Like, I'll see you soon. Jack was like, I miss you. I can't wait to see you. And I was like, okay, like, I feel like vibes have changed, like, between us. Like, I think he actually is, you know, interested in me and, like, wants to get to know me. So I landed. I came to the house. It was a new house. They were staying in Airbnb because the one had flooded. And when I walked in, nobody was downstairs. It actually looked like a crazy, like, rager went on. Like, there was alcohol everywhere, solo cups everywhere. It was a mess. So I remember, since no one was up and awake, even Jack, I was cleaning the area because I don't know
what
I was just cleaning. I felt like
why
I don't know. I was very I don't know. I started cleaning.
Camilla.
OCD.
Okay.
So as I'm cleaning,
Okay.
I look
Camilla's
towards
like,
the stairs and I see this girl I've never seen in my life before. I had not met her. I didn't see any pictures of her. She walks downstairs and I'm just like, well, okay, well, I don't know who that is. We didn't really speak or talk. It was a little awkward. And then he walks downstairs and just starts laughing, like with his friends. And I was just like, like what's going on? He was very awkward hugging me. And I was like, this isn't like seem right. Like I'm confused. As soon as everyone wakes up and like the girls come to me, even his own friends, everyone that worked for him came up to me and said, listen, Jack hooked up with a girl last night. I don't want you to freak out.
Oh yeah, fuck me. I'm not gonna. What are you fucking talking about? I just flew fucking across the fucking nation.
Right. That's what I was really upset. Like my stomach, like I felt like a pit. I was like, damn, bro. But then they were like, but it's okay because he said that he thought it was you. Yeah.
Camilla's reaction.
Yeah.
Out of every fucking excuse ever,
right?
Like actually ever, I'd never heard of.
No, me neither.
Genuinely. Oh no. No, you don't get it. I thought it was you.
Right.
No, I fucked her because I thought it was your pussy.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, that just pissed me off.
No, I mean she had brown eyes. Like I like,
pop off
nothing.
queen.
Like we looked
God, I love
alike,
her.
but
She had like black hair, like jet black hair.
It wasn't my hair. It was not my hair. But when they told me that, I was like, whatever. Like I'm not that dumb. Like I was like, okay, he obviously hooked up with this girl. She was sleeping in my spot in bed with him. I was upset. I was hurt, but I was like, you know what? I'm not looking, like, we're not together. We're not labeled. But I was like, but I am here with all these people. I don't know a lot of people, but we're always going out, meeting new people. Like, let me just, like, hang out with everybody. And if he's that way.
Like, okay, so you were just thinking, like, okay, it's casual.
I was like, well, I'm just still taking this opportunity. Like, he's a cool guy. We're probably not going to date because he's doing these things. But, like, I'm down to meet new people. I'm down to be with my friends. Yeah, like, I was already friends with the people that had invited me down there. And Jack was just someone that, like, I started to get to know. And, like, I wasn't expecting it. So, I took it for how it was. I was like, let's just see how the day goes. And that was the day I met you. That was the day that we went on the yacht, the prank. Yeah, babe. You're wearing a yellow bikini.
Bitch, talk about bad timing.
No, it was like really bad timing. By the way.
Okay, let me preface here. Okay, now I look like a piece of shit, but I didn't know.
You didn't know.
The day I met McKinley, I was like working with Jack. I would say, like, I just started working with Jack, and he would go on these crazy yachts and, like, you know, whatever, and he invited me on the yacht. So I was like, okay, cool. And he goes, listen, like, I'm filming a YouTube video. And he was like, my girl McKinley. He
said my girl.
Yes,
right.
Like, you were his girl. Like, it was very clear. Like, he made it clear to me that, like, you were someone that he was seeing. So he wanted to pull a prank on you. And he was like, the video was that McKinley was going to catch me and Jack, like, in this, like, yacht bedroom together. And there were, like, cameras everywhere. And she was going to walk in and it was going to seem like
you guys were together.
We were together and you were supposed to see it. And I was supposed to be, oh, no, it's a prank. That was a real thing that happened. And me not knowing that a real situation like this happened
the day that you did it, yeah.
The same day. It's so funny. Not funny. It's ironic how as soon as she opened the door, her face just was kind of like, and then she closed the door and walked out. And I was like, oh, I shot up out of the bed and I was like, wait, McKinley, like, it's a joke. And you were like, it's fine. I remember her being like, it's fine. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, she was confused as to why I wasn't reacting.
Freaking out. Because first of all, let me say something. Let my man pull some bullshit like that. I'm raging. I'm breaking shit. I'm going crazy. So the fact that you did it and he had introduced you to me as, like, his girl, like, I was really confused by your reaction, but I guess this makes perfect sense.
No, yeah, I was like, catching it with a second girl tonight. I remember that so clear. I was like, where's Jack? Where's the girl in the yellow? I remember I said the girl in the yellow and I was like, they're probably downstairs. It's okay. I mean, like, it's what I'm expecting. Like, at this point, like, he's a man-ho. Like, I opened the door and I didn't have any reaction. And then everyone was like, what's wrong? Like, you asked me. And I was just like, I don't care. But in the back of my head, I'm like, that prank, it just, like, kind of validated how I felt that day. I was like, even though it was fake, I was like, I don't know, like, how to feel about that, you know?
That was the beginning of the end. Like, in a sense of, like, that is the tactic he used on you throughout the entire relationship. It's just for content.
Just for content, yeah. And that was like that was real emotion.
That was a real scenario that happened that morning.
Yeah.
So what happened? Did you ever talk to Jack about, like, why?
I didn't feel like it was my place. For some reason, I'm going to therapy right now. Like, I'm working on getting...
Can somebody click on that and see what the price is? I don't even know what that is. It just popped up.
Better at communication skills. And, like, if I'm not okay with something and there's a boundary broken, I want to be able to voice that and, like, feel comfortable doing that. But at that time, like, I really didn't. Like, I was afraid of getting hurt. I was afraid of looking dumb. I was afraid of him saying, well, we're not anything. Like, I can do what I want. So I just wanted to, you know, from afar, from a distance, like, see how you operate. If you're doing this in front of girls, I'm not going to pursue you. Like, if you're doing all of this in front of me, then it's wraps. Like, we're not going to be doing anything. And that was something, like, I feel like I made very, very apparent to him. I was like, loyalty is my number one thing. Like, loyalty, because I'm a loyal friend. I'm a loyal girlfriend. I'm so loyal to people, and that's the only thing I want is loyalty and respect. He was so respectful to me. Like, when I tell you, like, he would even go as far as saying, I could never imagine getting mad at you or yelling at you. You're too sweet. You're too unproblematic. That's what I love about you so much, is that you're so unproblematic. You're not confrontational. Like, he was so respectful. And I'm not a confrontational person. I don't like confrontation. And that's something, again, I'm working on, is just, you know, not letting people walk all over me. And I feel like I was very quiet, and I'm a very quiet person, but I'm not dumb. I'm observant. I know what's going on, even though it may not look like that. So I always kept my guard up with him, especially in the beginning. I was like, you know, I'm witnessing him flirting with girls in front of me, but he calls me his girl and none of them, and doesn't claim them. So it was like this constant confusion of, like, does he like me, or is he flirting with these girls in front of me?
It's almost like he's, and hear me out, like, I get it, like, keeping you on your toes. Like I don't want to give her too much. I don't want her to know that I'm so in love with her. I don't want her to know that I'm too into her, because I understand that some girls are, like, unattractive if a guy is, like, too overly obsessed with you. But I think that flirting and making it seem like you're fucking other women is a turn off. That's not a turn on.
Right, yeah.
At least for me. No, like, personally, like, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, like, I want to fuck him even more because he's fucking other girls. Like, that's not, I think that's what he was trying, maybe.
I think so too. I think so, because he was with a girl before me, and there was this, like, whole situation, and that was even some drama. Like, during this time especially, she bullied me, hated me, would talk the worst possible things you could ever say about anybody, but, like, be nice to my face. But apparently, you know, it was kind of the same situation. He was feeling her for a little bit, and then I came into the picture. I had no idea that they were even seeing each other or were a thing, but I come into this situation not knowing this, and I have this random girl hating me, and I don't know her. And I was just like, I was honest with Jack, and I was like, hey, listen, like, I think you need to have a conversation with her, because she's signed to him, she works with him, and I know that I don't give you anything. Like you don't have my OnlyFans, like we don't work together, but like I would hope that you have respect for me as your girl to like say, yo, chill, like don't say that about her, don't do this, don't do that. But that was like a game for him. I felt like, you know, having her living with us in the same house, an ex-girlfriend, which that's just messy in itself, but like he would flirt with her in front of me, and then, you know, she would talk about me to him in really negative ways, and I would hear it, and I was just like, where's the respect? Like, I was very, very confused as to why he acted like that. But then he would just tell me, you don't have to worry about these girls, they're just jealous of you. That's what he would tell me. Not, you know, they're in the wrong, whatever. He'd be like, I know you are, so like you shouldn't care what anyone says about you because I know you. That's what he always told me when I would have a problem with something, ever. If he was flirting with girls or, you know, talking to his ex in a certain way, I'd be like, why are you doing that? And then he'd be like, but you know that like it's different. Like, you're different from all of them. So looking back, I mean, the red flags were there, but he did take into consideration what I had to say at this point. Like,
he's playing both sides.
He was, but
Sophia.
you know, I would confide in him, tell him what I had a problem with and the boundaries I had set. But I also knew we didn't have a label. So when I would go to my friends like Michelle and say, hey, like this is happening, I don't know what to do, they'd be like, you just need to talk to him. And I'd be like, well, I don't know what to say because we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. He technically can do whatever he wants. So, you know, I was always really confused. I was like, is he going to ask me to be his girlfriend? Is he going to continue to kind of disrespect me because we don't have a label on it and he feels like he can? So that was something I was very confused with. We were continuing for 2 months to just drink and go to dinner and go on boats. And then I had went back home to Vegas for like a few days. And then I went back, and that's when he moved into his brand new house. And by the way, I also want to mention that he didn't pull out a camera or film anything when I was getting to know him. He didn't prioritize filming whatsoever. I had no idea how anybody made money in the house. I was like, nobody's filming videos. What is everyone doing? It was just fun. So when I came back from Vegas, and you know, why I kept giving him chance after chance, even though I was kind of seeing things that bothered me and that were crossing, you know, boundaries that I've never let happen in a normal relationship. But again, this is not normal because he was, you know, so involved with social media. And that was something that, you know, I actually looked up to. Like with him, I looked up to how much he was involved in social media and also just his passion for it and his work. But I think most of the reason why I stayed and why I kept coming back and why I kept giving him chance after chance was because he was providing an illusion that he cared for me and that he was a genuine caring person that, you know, wanted the best for me. And he was also providing me a life that I never had seen before. You know, in Miami, I'm 20 years old. I had never been to a bar or a club or like seeing these boats. Like it was something that was so new to me and it was exciting in itself, even without a boyfriend or whatever. That was an exciting moment for me. And
So behind closed doors, he was like, was it different behind closed doors? Like, what was he telling you? Like,
it was a lot different behind closed doors. He would, you know, if I had a problem with something that, you know, a girl had said about me that he was working with, he would.
I also just want to like say now before it gets, because I know there's going to be comments, maybe not in here, but just on, actually seen some on one of the clips that I did see, basically saying like she knew what she was getting into, she wanted this, and this was the trade-off. Let me explain something to you, to any woman, or for any woman, I'm not speaking at a woman, I'm speaking just in general. I don't care if she saw him as, you know, her come up or somebody to help leverage her up. In no way, shape, or form does any woman ever deserve to be SA'd or physically assaulted by any man ever in their life. Unless they're like woman starts beating the fuck out of the man, and then it's like, okay, well, he's got to defend himself at some point. But I'm saying, like, I don't, like, her, even if she knowingly, because here's the thing, she didn't know what the situation was. She knew that this person worked really hard in social media and had built this brand and this huge business and had become really successful. And I think that she admired that in him and wanted to learn from him. And if she got, you know, if it helped her kind of move up a little bit, sure. But in no way, shape, or form does any woman ever deserve, like, oh, I'm doing this for you, so I'm going to take this from you, or I'm going to inflict this onto you because you're mine. That's fucking disgusting. And that's exactly what those Jack Doherty and his little fucking groupies do.
Just
Hi, babe.
He'd be there for me and comfort me and make me sure that he was all about me, and that's all I had to worry about was what he thought of me, not anybody else in the house. So I kind of took it for how it was. I listened to his advice because, again, I'm not a confrontational person. Someone could say things about me and I'm still not going to go up to you and say, you said this. Like, I'm not that type of person. I'm very, like, it gives me anxiety even thinking about it. So I continued, and he was still, buying me things, taking me out to dinners, but it was less like how it was in the beginning because we didn't have the alcohol. He didn't have the confidence, I guess, to have normal conversations with me because we were all sober. Alcohol was something that I never needed to, have conversations with people, but he was very locked in, I would say, like to his phone and to his job. And
Really?
he is. And it's a really bad, anyone close to him knows.
I kind of, I knew because I've watched him like during like the Tesla stream, like,
yeah.
and he would joke around and be like, bro, you gotta do Adderall, like it'll keep you, it's so W, bro, like it'll keep you sharp, like it'll keep you going, like bro, I have like 3 days, you know what I mean, like, but at the same time though, like I know he does have like ADHD, so I was like, okay, maybe, I genuinely at some point was like, oh, it's just like, he's just prescribed Adderall and he takes Adderall.
Right, he buys it, and he's actually not prescribed even anymore, but that it became a problem with him, especially with the drinking. That's why he got so drunk, because he was, tweaking out on Adderall as well, and that's something you can't mix. So that's why I really looked out for him, and I worried for him because I knew he was taking the Adderall, and I didn't think it was a problem at first. I really didn't, because again, like, people are prescribed Adderall for ADHD, and he clearly, like, he has ADHD. Yeah. But he would take it in ways that you shouldn't take it, like popping 2 at once, and you would have that, that feeling of just like bouncing off the walls. That's why he was, so blackout drunk when he would drink. It was that on top of the alcohol, mixing that. It was horrible. There were times where I felt like I had to call the fucking ambulance because he was saying like, I feel like I'm gonna die. My heart's beating out of my chest. And I was like, you cannot mix these things. Like, I don't know what to do. But this was something that he took, sober too. When I went there and like we went to the new house and he started filming more, his way of success was Adderall, and he would always make jokes about that. He would give it to his employees. He would say, "You'll work better if you take this. You'll be more sharp. You'll be more efficient." Like you said, like he really tried to get a lot of his employees on it because they were doing exactly what he was doing. He needs his filmer to be on Adderall. He would want the people he's working with to be on the same page because you're just like go, constant go. So again, I felt very uninvolved in everything, and on top of that, he would shower me with gifts and spoil me. And that was something that, I was very thankful for, but it also became very negative because I realized that the girls were really upset about it. And I was confused because I was like, he was telling me they were jealous. I was like, well, it might be that, but it's like, why are they so upset at you getting me these things if you're not if you don't have a relationship with any of the other girls? Right. It's just a little weird. Because if I'm your girl, then it wouldn't be weird for them to see that you're buying me anything. So a few weeks pass, I'm still doing my things. I'm getting sent, clothes, and I'm modeling the clothes, and I'm doing brand deals in the house. And I remember one of the girls had a conversation with him and just said, like, what value does she bring to you? She brings no value. She makes you no money.
Huh?
Yeah. She was like, all she does is take selfies, and she's around the house, and she does this. She's unemployed. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't make you any money. That's when I started piecing together that these girls, they make money from OnlyFans, but he also takes a large chunk. And I never knew what chunk of money was taken because he has everyone on NDAs. And they were unable to talk about it. But also at the same time, I did have a lot of the girls confide in me because I wasn't involved. And I had no involvement in the business side of things. And they would just tell me, like, how unhappy they are with the contract that they're in. They told me about it. And I wasn't on that type of contract, but that was how he did things in the beginning, I guess, when people were less aware and more naive. I don't want to get into specifics in people's business, but I know that was probably, looking back on it, the reason why they were so upset at him showering me with gifts with their money. I mean, that's just from how I felt, at least, leading on to the situation. But he ends up this one night taking me to dinner. He said that it was a business dinner. And he was like, I want you to come with me. I'm meeting up with my business guy. I'm not saying his name. We end up going. It's a really nice dinner. It's with a bunch of other people I had never met before, but it was this older guy. And Jack introduced me to him. We start talking a little bit, and he just brings up, so why don't you have an OnlyFans? This man, he's like in his 40s.
You've never met him before?
Never had met him before. I was like, well, it kind of caught me off guard, especially like coming from an older man. I was just kind of like, that's the first thing you say to me is, why don't you have an OnlyFans? I was like, it's against my morals. That's all I said. I was like, it's just the way I was raised. Like, that's something not in the cards for me. And I'm firm on that. And he said, fuck your morals. He said, fuck your morals. And I didn't know what to say to that. Like, I've never had anyone, especially, again, an older person saying that to me. And I was really offended. I was sitting there at the dinner table, they're just talking about random things. And when we got in the car, I told Jack, I was like, I'm offended. Like, I don't want you to put me in a situation like that ever again because you know how I feel about all of this. And that was like really like awkward for me. And I don't want you to do that to me again. So he apologized. He said he wasn't going to bring it up again. And in that moment, just piecing everything together, I think that's when he realized
you were serious.
I was serious. I didn't want to do it. No matter how many people asked me, he never asked me. He never did, but his people would ask me.
So he would go and tell people like, yo, do you think she'll do it? Like, you think this week if I fly her out here, she'll do it?
He was directing
if I fire
people
this,
to
if I do
do
this,
it.
if I do that. So he realized that. I was very firm on it. I even went so far to tell him, don't do that to me again. Like that.
And let me also just interject. The purpose of doing that is to eventually break the person down because they feel so pressured by everyone around them that they then feel like the outcast because they're the ones not doing it. So they end up breaking to that pressure and doing it because it's like, well, this is what everybody here is doing. I should be doing this too, right? Like, it's very much like a fucking this
Please don't
manipulative,
so
nasty
we go
thing
back.
to do.
The dynamic at this point has changed. Like I feel very alone. I feel like I
Right.
should leave because he's, you know, still flirting with me. We're still sleeping in the same bed. He's still like,
Had you guys hooked up here?
no, we didn't hook up or do anything for a year and a half into our relationship. Nothing. I know.
No head?
Nothing. No head. But no,
You went a year and a half no head?
none of that.
He went a year and a half no head?
No.
Oh,
Not
you
at
don't
all.
want to give him head, but regardless.
Yeah. So
You want to know why? Because that boy's a homosexual.
now I want to start talking about the whole situation as to why I am sitting here right now with an OnlyFans, even though it was against everything that I had wanted for myself.
Yeah, like what happened? What happened? Like, especially with the shift, like him realizing, like, oh fuck, like there's really nothing I can do to get this girl to.
Yeah.
Why didn't he send you home?
Well, he kind of tried to do that. I'll never forget this night because it was honestly the night that changed my life. For a long time, I beat myself up over it. Even like to this day, I'm like, I wish I wasn't as
What do you mean, Isabella? Because let me just tell you, that's not the cake he wanted, if you catch my drift.
naive. But again, like I cannot blame myself for feeling this way, like ever. I know.
It's not your fault.
I know. I have to remember that.
It is not your fault, McKinley.
I know.
It's not your fault. Right?
Yeah.
So
I
don't-
love Camilla.
it happened and it's not your fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
Camilla's
wasn't-
so good at this.
People can say, what they can say, and no, nobody forced me into something. Like, not at all. But with, being with him, keep in mind, this is probably like 3-4 months into us knowing each other and like building a relationship. I'm building a relationship with a guy, and not only a guy, but my closest friends that I've known for a while. I met you. I met Michelle. I met everybody that was there, and it wasn't just me losing a boyfriend. It was me losing everything that I had built. So, I'll never forget this night. Michelle walked into the bathroom I was in. I was by myself. And she basically told me, listen, don't freak out, but Jack really wants you to start OnlyFans. And he said that there's no reason for you guys to be together if you're not helping. And I broke down in tears. I was like, wow. Like, everything that he had said to me, like, oh, I know you're my wife because you don't have one. And getting me to go to dinner and try to get me on OnlyFans, but it didn't work. Now it's an ultimatum. He wanted me, when he realized he didn't have the control over me when it came to other people and like what they could say, he realized that he did need to create an ultimatum for me. And that was hard for me. And he knew that. He knew what I felt and how I felt about him and the whole situation and how I would tell him like how happy I was and like how this is so fun for me. So I cried and I was like, let me talk to Jack. Like, I just need to talk to him. I was thinking, if I go and talk to him and just say, this is how I feel about this, like he'll respect it again. And like, if he sends me home and, doesn't want to be with me because of this, then like, I guess it is what it is. But I didn't want to lose that. And that was what I was like prioritizing. It wasn't what I could make on OnlyFans. I had no idea. I had no idea how much money you could make on OnlyFans. I just knew that I really liked this guy and that he was such a safety blanket for me. I felt like he was always there when I needed something. If I needed to go to the doctor, he would make sure I would go to the doctor. He was very caring. But I remember walking into the room that he was in. He was alone also with one of his employees. And I walked in and they just start laughing. I didn't think it was funny. I guess they were just like, because Jack had never brought up OnlyFans to me. So it was like, because he made everyone else do it. Very awkward. Yeah, he made everyone else do it. It's sad looking back on it because that was something I respected. I was like, I respect the fact that he cares about my beliefs and he understands that. And by the way, I also, again, want to say, I had no idea what he was doing and what business deals he had with these people. I was just trusting him as someone that cared about me. Like, I didn't think he would fuck me over. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, well, maybe this will be a good decision. After talking to him, I was explaining how this is not in the cards for me, Jack. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, my parents, like, I can't even imagine what they would think if I did this. And he was like, your parents are going to get over it. Like, they're going to realize how much money you're going to make. And I was like, am I though? Like, I had no idea. I was like, am I going to make money? I don't know. And they were like, you are going to be very well off. They were like, this is going to be the biggest success ever. And Jack was telling me, he was like, you're going to be, my main girl. Like, we can post together. We can finally act like boyfriend and girlfriend. We can start doing things together. And like, it's not reasonable for you to be in my life if you're not involved in my life. And I understood that at the time. Now, if that was said to me, it would be a lot different. I think we changed so much. When I was 20, I'm not the same person as I was when I was 20. Like, I've grown a lot in these 2 years. And I really believe that me being a supportive girlfriend, if I am in this guy's life and he does YouTube and all these things, and he's filming his life constantly, why wouldn't I, help him? It was never a me thing. It was never, I think I should do this. I think we would do great together. It was him and saying he had a vision and that we could make something great. So I tried to shut down the conversation, and I just agreed to it. And in my head, I was like, I'm not doing this. I'll have a conversation with him tomorrow, and I'll just be like, listen, I've been thinking about it. I can't do it. Like, that's where my head was at. But I just literally, I wanted to stop the conversation. I was so uncomfortable. I had Michelle and his other employee and him just like telling me how successful it's going to be. And, you know, that was something that I didn't know for sure. I didn't know if like I would start it and then like, you know, my parents would never speak to me again. I was fully preparing myself for that. We ended up going to bed, and I woke up, and that morning he had a contract in hand and he told me to sign it. I didn't even have the opportunity to talk to my parents about it. I was going to call my mom because my mom was more comforting, you know, in that situation, because my dad obviously didn't want to talk to him about that at all. But I didn't even have time for that or for any legal representation. He gave me the contract, and he basically just said, sign it. I read through it, and I didn't like how it said, you know, he owns all of my social media accounts, because again, I had a following. I had 500,000 followers on TikTok. I had over 100K on Instagram. That was something I had built for years. And that was something that I held very close to me. So I was like, I just want to make sure, like, in this contract, do you actually own all of my accounts, even the ones that I have? And then he was like, no, the contract means nothing. Like, we can change anything, but it's whatever. Just sign it.
Exactly,
so
Kate.
I signed it.
Sorry, it was really
first
loud.
words that came out of his mouth were, "You're now Jack Doherty's girlfriend." And that was the day that we had a label. I was still waiting on the, you know, actual ask and like hey, will you be my girlfriend? But from that day forward, he filmed videos with me, and called me his girlfriend online. So I was like, well, at least he's labeling it as we're boyfriend and girlfriend online. That's different than what he used to do. Like, he didn't do any of that. But again, I'm still lacking the, hey, will you be my girlfriend? Like, we're dating now. Like, we never talked about it. It was just kind of unspoken. But also, I'll never forget this time we went to New York to his parents' house. It was like my first time meeting, you know, people close to him. And one of his really close friends that he grew up with, she asked, what are you guys? Are you boyfriend and girlfriend? And that was the first time someone had asked like that question. And I didn't say anything. I looked at Jack and I was like, are we? And he was like, I mean, what's the difference? And then I was like, there's a huge difference. I was like, what do you mean? Like, the label, I feel like girlfriend and boyfriend, you're exclusive to each other. You're with each other. And like, that's that. And he was like, well, I would never ask you to be my girlfriend. That's gay. And I was like, well,
I would never ask you to be my girlfriend. That's homosexual.
Right.
Yeah. I would never, as a man, ask you to be my girlfriend, because that's a homosexual thing to do.
Yeah, it didn't really click with me either. That caught me off guard. I was like, okay.
What is can I ask ChatGPT? What is the actual logic?
Can I ask ChatGPT? Let's just proceed. I'm trying to get through this.
Okay, I don't know.
Right. I'm sorry. By the way, that's every girl. Like, that's how you build a life. You know, like, you ask to be boyfriend and girlfriend. Years down the road, you ask to be a fiance. What was he just?
I mean, again, like, he's feeding me these things like he is into me, but I didn't feel like
the irony of him
girlfriend,
using
because,
the word
we're
gay
lacking the
is so
sexual
crazy.
chemistry. We're not really talking when we're sober, but what we do have in common is that we have a lot of fun when we film together. And like, that was what I was lacking before, because I wasn't involved. So now that I'm involved, like, he fully was prioritizing me, and almost like not putting the girls on the back burner, but just like prioritizing me as Jack's girlfriend online. And obviously, like, I was in more videos, and that was something that was always a priority, but that also started to make the girls not like me either. So even though I'm just, you know, doing me and like just trying to navigate the relationship aspect, I'm also trying to navigate, you know, why these girls hate me. Like, I don't do anything. I don't know what to do. He labeled me as this. We're talking. He's telling me this, but he's probably telling them other things. I didn't know. But we were laying in bed this one night after we came back from that New York trip, and he was like, remember what my friend brought up about me and you being...
Wait, what? Mommy Lex, I don't... If you can't ask, I'll find someone who will. I don't know what you're... I am basing this off of one experience, vast amounts of experience with guys just like him. And two, it's just my assessment. I don't have any like solid like proof other than you know.
And girlfriend. I was like, yeah. And he was like, is there really a difference? And I was like, I think that there is a difference. And then he was like, well, I mean, I always said it was gay when you asked someone to be your girlfriend, but I guess I'll be gay.
Yeah.
You want to be my girlfriend? That's how he asked me. So from that day forward,
I could name 100 guys that I've met that are just like him.
He was too good to, you know, respectfully ask me. And by the way, I also want to say the second I signed to him and gave him, you know, access to my accounts and all this stuff, the disrespect started showing. Like, he was not as respectful as he was in the beginning. At dinner, you could forget about it. We never went on dates. We never did anything like how we did in the past. He was strictly just, you know, content. So I was like, how do you keep up with all of this stuff? Like, I'm exhausted. Like, how does your life, like, how do you continue to do this? And he was like, it's Adderall. Like, you should try. He's like, you will be successful. I'm not proud of it at all, but I had a horrible Adderall addiction dating him because of him telling me I needed to keep up with him. And also, it's like when Jack's space is somewhere, I was always there. I had to keep up with him without that substance. And when I did that...
I'm so sorry to pause this. Is that like the actual, like, ride? Like, y'all, I'm so sorry. Is that like the actual page that just came in, or... I'm sorry.
I felt
Sorry.
more motivated, and it gave me a feeling.
I just saw
I'm not on it
something,
anymore,
I thought,
thankfully, but that ruined my life. I couldn't function without it.
Freak out right now.
It became...
So when he did it, you would do it?
When he did it, I would do it every morning before I could even eat breakfast. I did it because we needed to go downstairs and film as soon as, you know, we woke up. We had no time to eat. He hated when people ate. He would get mad at people when we were eating and saying we were wasting time and we needed to focus on content and we're taking too long to eat. So I went through a very long period with just not eating and just waking up and taking Adderall. And I weighed 140 pounds when I moved down to Florida. I wasn't eating for like a week at a time. Like, I was just not hungry. I was stressed out. I was depressed because, again, I'm dealing with him constantly flirting with girls in front of me. He's telling me one thing. I'm so confused, all while trying to prove to him that I am different and I want to work. Because a lot of the people that he has signed, they didn't have social media presence, and videos were just like something they had to do because whatever. Like, they were in college. They weren't passionate about it, but I loved filming. I loved, you know, meeting people, and starting a YouTube channel was my dream. So I started a YouTube channel and it took off. And he didn't want me to do it at first. He said it was a waste of time. Looking back, I'm so grateful and thankful that I had people around me that really wanted me to do it as well. His employees really pushed me, which was my filmers and all that stuff, and they made it possible for me to do that. And, you know, within the first month of me starting YouTube, I gained 1 million followers, and that was something I was so proud of. And I felt like him seeing that would also just, like, you know, I was craving something, and I just wanted him to see how successful I was.
Yeah.
I wanted validation, and I think that's a lot of the reason why I was very motivated, not only because I wanted to do it for my...
What? Oh, you're already getting in bed?
Just laying down.
I'll just see if I can get more water real quick. Okay, sorry.
But I was like, you know, I want to prove to him that I'm a hard worker and that I'm here for him, and I want to, you know, create this amazing thing for us where you make money and I make money.
Like an empire. You want to build an empire with him.
Absolutely. And that was what my mindset was. But within the first month of me starting OnlyFans, a brand new thing started happening for him, and that was streaming. And instead of, you know, him pulling out a camera and filming a few minutes of his day, it started to become for 24 hours long. Yep. He'd have a camera, and then it would be 36 hours, and it would be really long live streams. But if you guys watch Jack in his early days of streaming, you know how chaotic it was. I want to actually play a few things for you guys and for you to see, you know, the difference in the content he was doing, especially in the earlier days. Obviously, it was a lot different as the, you know, years went on, but in the very beginning stages, it was very, very chaotic. And I want to show you guys what it looks like.
Somebody called and said you wanted yourself.
I told you.
Whatever. My chat's not going to care what your chat's
recording. I'm going to
leave the camera. I don't care.
Huh? I can't hear you. Oh, okay.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry, Josh is... I don't know.
What are you doing? I don't know. Wait, take me to anything. It's because we're all winners. I have a problem. I literally have a problem.
Hi, baby.
But in these early days of streaming, again, OnlyFans was very new to me. It was something I was very insecure about. That was something I got to a point where I was like, I can't even look at you in the mirror, like, to myself. Like, I didn't know how to tell people. I didn't want people to know that about me in this moment. And while he was streaming, he would have these people come over and grill me and say, you're going to hell, you are a whore, like, just constant degrading comments, which made me overthink a lot of things. And all this is happening on live stream. So it's not only, you know, just happening in private, but these things are getting said to me, and all while Jack he's mistreating me, he's actively cheating on me, telling me it's all just for content. I was so emotional. I was crying constantly.
Wait. Hold on. Did she just say he would have people come over to her and, like, degrade her and tell her how horrible of a person she is for doing OnlyFans? You fucking sick, twisted fuck. You literally knew that is the reason that she didn't want to do this is because it went against everything that she morally and ethically felt in life. And you took that and you then targeted her after you convinced her to fucking do it. You low-life piece of fucking shit.
It's all for content. It's all fake. Like, don't worry about it. It's all for the camera.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here for you when I'm not streaming. Like, it's just for the stream. But this made me feel like I was crazy because I was questioning my own reality. I'm actively watching you, getting twerked on by girls. I'm actively watching you talk about how fine this girl is and how you're going to DM her, and like actively DMing girls on live stream and just doing things that I would never in a million years let happen in a normal relationship. Like I'm so big on loyalty. So him saying it's all for content, it's all for the camera, it confused the hell out of me. I was so confused. But again, this is so new to me. I'm like, okay, well, I guess. But there was a certain point where I fully just left the situation and let him do what he wanted to do on his streams and not associate myself with his streams. I started to not really show my face and just hide in my own room because, if I went downstairs, I could possibly be in an altercation with a girl that he called a whore, or, he would degrade women. And then what do the women do? They look at the girl he's dating and they're like, why are you letting him talk to me this way? So that was something I did not want to deal with at all. And, I also want to take into account him being on Adderall was his excuse, because he would tell me he would black out. He'd be like, I was on so much Adderall that I don't even know what I said. I don't even remember what I said. I'm just trying to entertain my stream. Like, why can't you understand that? And that was when Adderall became a major, major problem for him. It wasn't just, let me just take my one. He would have 30 milligram Adderall pills and popping multiple at a time. He would stay up for 24 hours, 36 hours, continuing his streaming like every single day. Even if he would stop, it would maybe just be to sleep and then waking up and redoing it all over again. And I'm not taking Adderall like that. I couldn't. Like, that scared me because I knew how unhealthy that was and how bad it could be if he overdosed on Adderall. So I was exhausted. I was so tired. I look back at pictures and videos of me during that time and like my dark circles, like I need my sleep. And especially in those moments when I'm already stressed out and the lack of sleep, I really felt like I was going crazy. And me and Michelle and, we were the only two girls that were really in the house living there like full time, because a lot of people, would go back and forth to other places. But her and I would just, be with each other the entire time and just, be like, I wish this wasn't happening in our house. Like, I wish I could have peace. I wish I could have, be able to go downstairs and sit on the couch and have a nice dinner. But it was not that. And his whole entire life turned into streaming every single day, 24/7. And it wasn't him being nice to me. It was constant disrespect. And that was something that was very, very new. Like, I was like confused. I'm like, where did the person I met go? Like, where did the person go that stood up for me and made me feel safe? And, but again, this is all masked because he said it was just for content.
Wow.
But some of the worst things happened to me. Not everything was caught on camera that happened, but a big chunk of things were filmed when I didn't even want them to be filmed. A lot of emotional things happened to me, traumatic events. One of them being he flipped an entire golf cart on top of me on purpose, and it was for a clip. I know that because he was trying his best to flip it, and you can see in the footage the only thing that he was looking for was the camera to see if they got it. I want to insert that clip and show you guys what happened. I was in so much pain. He thought it was not that big of a deal. This, again, happened on camera.
Exactly,
and
Megan.
He was just worried about getting the good clip and seeing it on TikTok, not making sure I was okay. I knew I needed to go to the hospital when this happened to me. But he had prior obligations to go on a yacht with Antonio Brown, so it wasn't a priority. I was like, Jack, I need to go to the hospital. I was crying. I couldn't even walk. My back was so bruised up, and like my whole entire spine was just bruised. And my neck, it had hit my neck. It literally could have killed me. The way it fell on top of me, it fell on my side. The back of the cart went at the back of my neck, and I crunched over, and then it hit my back. He said that he thought it broke my neck. And I'm like, if you really thought that and you're like not worried about me, that's insane. He tells me like he's going to end stream. He's not going to go on the boat. And I have all the people that were with him, Antonio Brown included, just saying like, oh, you're going to be fine. Like, just go on the boat. You need a massage. And I was like, that's not what I need. I was like, I need to go to the doctor. I need to go to the hospital. My parents were texting me because they were watching live. At this point, my parents were very supportive of my life and trying to, be involved. But the things they were seeing, they were just like, are you okay? Like, what's going on over there? Is he treating you good? And I would just say, Mom and Dad, it's for content. Like, that's his thing. Like, he wants to look crazy and like crazy things happen, but he's really good off camera. He wasn't amazing off camera, but I told my parents that because I knew they'd be like, come home. Like, if he's not treating you good, come home. So I wasn't really honest. But we ended up going into the Sprinter van. We're about to leave, and we didn't leave for probably over an hour because they were trying to get Jack to not end his stream and not take me to the hospital, but to just go on the boat. I waited in the Sprinter van, and he decided to go on the yacht. He told me to wait and that he would only be 30 minutes. I was laying face down on the back seats because I couldn't sit down properly. I couldn't even lay. So I was literally on my stomach waiting for him, crying. And his filmer at the time was like, I'm so pissed. Like, he is horrible for this. Like, you need to go to the fucking hospital. Like, I can't believe he's doing this right now. Like, he was really, really upset. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to Uber. Like, I can't leave. I don't know what else to do. Like, I'm in so much pain. It was getting worse, and it was getting so much worse. And I was worried that something bad happened and that it hit something that it shouldn't have. So I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
So I ended up Ubering back to the house, not to the hospital.
Let's also just point out, too, like, even if she wasn't, like, exactly Casey, that's what I was about to say. Even if she wasn't necessarily, like, feeling the way she was and, like, all bruised up and shit, like, just naturally, the ambulance, like, they should have called 911 and an ambulance should have been there to at least assess her on the scene if she wasn't going to go to a hospital. Not him and his friends just being like, oh, you'll be fine, you need a massage. Like, who the fuck are y'all?
I go to the house and, like, I'll feel better. I'll get a heat pad. Maybe it's fine. I'm bruised up. When I'm on the way in the Uber and I'm sitting upright, I'm realizing, like, this is bad. Like, I'm in pain. I definitely need to do something. And I walk into the house. Everyone is there. Logan, his friend, and a bunch of the other people were there. And they looked at me and were like, we need to go to the hospital. Like, we'll go with you. So they were kind enough and realized, they watched it live and they were really pissed off at him for acting that way and, not caring about my well-being and not making sure I was okay. They ended up Ubering with me to the hospital. And when I went, Jack had met me there and he had a camera and he was filming me. I was so embarrassed because I'm like, I'm in the hospital. You're filming all of these things. He was like, you're the baddest one in the hospital on video. And I was like, I'm just not in the mood for this. But he was filming and they gave me medicine and I went back home. I was in bed for about a week and, I was back to normal. But his joke, I guess, of everything, he bought a golf cart the day after it happened and then surprised me with it for a video. And it was like all just a joke and funny to him. But I was like, I just remember, like, I'm never getting on a freaking golf cart with you ever again. Like, just not happening. That was one huge thing that happened on camera. And then I think another huge thing was me getting robbed at gunpoint in Compton. But that. Yeah, that was something that changed my life. Like, I think to this day, I still say, like, a few years were shaved off that day because I thought it was over. I remember this day, they were going to a takeover. Jack was, streaming and he had his friend Mickey Mace. We were planning to go to this takeover. I had no idea what a takeover was. Like, I don't know if, like, you probably knew what it was. I thought it was an event. I thought, like, DJs would be there, and, like, it wasn't that at all. Not at all. We ended up going. Yeah, it's in Compton. Yeah, at midnight. So I went. I wore all my jewelry. Dumb. I didn't know. I truly, we had security guards. We had 2 security guards. Mickey Mace was saying, like, we're all going to be okay. Like, it's going to be fine. We ended up getting there. And as soon as I get out of the car, I realized I don't belong here. Like, this place is not where I want to be. Like, people were, talking and yelling and saying, you don't belong here. Like, you need to go back home or, like, whatever, like, creeping me out. They're, like, get in my car, like, yelling from their cars. And all this is happening. And Jack, he does this thing where he doesn't look around for me anywhere. Like, I just have to keep up. And if I get lost, then figure it out. Like, he doesn't make sure I'm okay. He doesn't make sure I'm with him constantly. He walks so fast and everywhere. And I remember I kind of lost him during this. And then I saw him. And people were coming up to me, talking to me, telling me how my shoes were nice. And I was like, I need to, like, go. Like, I need to get the hell out of here. I also was scared I was going to get hit by a car. It was really unsafe to be out there. So I told him, I was like, listen, I don't want to be here anymore. I think it's extremely dangerous. I want to go back home.
There's a very common thread between people like him, the Paul brothers, David Dobrik. There is a very... I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to diagnose anyone, but there is a very much a common thread of sociopathic tendencies, for sure. For sure.
They're like, well, we're going to go to, like, a few more. So we end up going to the second takeover spot because if you don't know how takeover works, it's you start in one spot and then once it gets, what are you doing? Too crazy. Drifting cars? They're stolen cars. They steal cars and they drift them in the main streets. And, like, people were hit. I saw someone get hit. It was really freaking, it was awful.
But what's the next spot?
The next spot is just wherever everyone goes because the police will come in, shut everything down. There were helicopters everywhere, so many police officers. But when you're in a group of people like that, there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, probably thousands. And there's nothing you can do in that situation. Like, as a police officer, like, the only thing you can do is, like, just show up with your lights and then everyone's running to the next spot. And
so they, like, get caught, move, get caught, move.
Yes,
it just keeps going.
It keeps going. So we went to the second takeover spot. I get out for a second, it instantly, like, gets shut down, and then I go into the Sprinter. And I told him, I was like, listen, I think the third spot we're going to, people know we're live streaming. This is very dangerous because takeovers, it's not only just stolen cars, it's stolen guns, it's people in masks, people are stealing things because no one's getting caught when you're in this situation. Like, nobody is getting caught because there's so many people and so many people have masks on, nobody knows. So I told him, I was like, I think I'm going to stay in the car for the third one. I don't feel safe going out there. The last time I was out there, we had heard gunshots. I'm like, I can't do this. So they're like, okay, well, we'll give you the keys. I'm going to lock the door.
Screaming.
They get out. I tried to tell them just to not go because I really genuinely felt like something bad was going to happen. And that's where I'm like, always trust your gut. Like, I knew something was going to happen and something was wrong in that moment. So they leave. I had the keys in my hand and the light was on in the Sprinter van. This is like a big, like, party bus looking thing. Like, we were not hiding anywhere. Like, we were in a party bus, like, very out in the open. And I was sitting in my seat and I remember looking up and making eye contact with 2 guys in shiesties. And I was like, oh, I hope they can't see me. The lights are on in here. I need to figure out how to turn the lights off. So I get up. I turn the lights off, and then I go in the very, very back so that I'm not, like, near the windshield and they can't see through. And I just laid down. I'm hearing helicopters. I'm hearing gunshots. I'm hearing fireworks. I'm hearing every type of thing freaking out, so much anxiety.
Ugh.
And then I hear the car door
I'm getting
open.
anxiety just thinking
And
about it.
I pop my head up. I'm like, okay, everyone's back. Like, finally, time to go. When I looked up from the seat, I make eye contact with a guy I'd never seen before, any surgical mask. Like, it wasn't the two guys in Chinese that I had seen. It was a guy with a bag, a gun, and a blue surgical mask with gloves. And I looked at him. He said, "Who's in this party bus?" I didn't think he knew I was in there. So when I popped up and like made eye contact with him, I thought maybe it'd spook him and that he would like get out. And then I saw him hop over the seat into the van. And in this van, like, you're able to stand up fully straight up. He started running towards me, and I was like, I'm dead. Like, this is the time, like, either get like, you know, killed or something horrible. And I just remember saying, like, please, no. Like, I just was begging him. I was like, you can have everything, like, of mine. You know, my purse, you can have my money. I couldn't find my purse anywhere. I was like, where the fuck is it? I was like, please help me find it. I'll give you everything. I completely forgot I had a hoodie on and all my jewelry on. You didn't see any of my jewelry. But in that moment, I would have given everything to him. Like, of course. When you're in that situation, like, you don't know, like, I feel like a lot of people are like, I wouldn't give up my stuff. It's like, no, when you are alone, especially a female, like, in that moment, I was so powerless. Like, he could have done anything to me and get away with it. It could have been a stolen gun. He had a mask on. They could have came back to me dead in a car. But I was like, please help me find my purse. Like, I'll give you everything. And he was like, where the fuck is it? He had the gun up to my head and everything. And I was just like, I was closing my eyes and I was just like, I'm just waiting. I was like, this is fucking insane. And he ends up taking my wallet. I just had like my ID in there and like my cards and like some cash. And then as soon as he gets out, I'm shaking. Like, I'd never felt like that ever in my life, like almost like death experience. And it wasn't anything like, you know, the golf cart thing. It was like, my life was literally in someone else's hands. Like, they could have made that decision right then and there and like I would have been done. But I remember I called Jack. It was the only person I could think of calling, and I was shaking, and he didn't answer. And I didn't know if he was still outside. I didn't know if he had friends. I didn't know if they were gonna like come in there. And now looking back on it, I'm like, thank God Jack and all of them like didn't open the door when that was happening, because it would have been a full out shootout. Because our security had guns, he had a gun. I don't know what would have happened in that moment, but they end up opening the door and coming back. And I just want to insert the clip of, you know, what was live streamed, because the robbery was not on camera, but after the fact was. And I hate seeing this clip. It's the worst thing ever. Like, I can't even watch it. My parents can't watch it.
What'd they do? What the fuck, bro? Hey, what'd he do?
I don't know.
Wait, did he take your stuff?
I think.
What the fuck?
No, I said, where's my bag? Is to get your fucking bag.
He took your purse?
I don't know.
McKinley, where?
Oh my God.
Where's the key? Where's the key? Okay.
But that was the most real trauma ever. Like, it was a noise that had never came out of me before. I was freaking out. Jack was, you know, yelling at me. He was like, what happened? What happened? And I'm like shaking. I'm like, I can't even like explain what happened. I don't know. And it was obviously very, very traumatic for me. And I was like, please shut the cameras off. Like, I cannot, like, please take me off this camera. And he refused. He refused to shut off the camera. He refused to stop his live stream. He was laughing about it.
Disgusting.
Saying like, well, you're going to wake up tomorrow and like, you're going to wake up to all these TikToks and like these viral clips. I'm like, Jack, I don't care. I'm like, everything is content. Like, I don't know what isn't anymore.
What is that going to
like,
do for her,
like,
though?
You can't just feel a little bit of empathy for me after going through that.
What
and,
a fucking
you know, he continued his
shit.
live stream. He didn't listen to me. And I was like, what more does it take for you to just respect me? And what happened to you? What happened to the guy that made me feel safe in the beginning? Like,
He
this
was always
horrible,
there, babe.
and now you don't care. And I
He was
realized in that
always
moment, I was
there.
like, this man doesn't fucking care about me.
It was
You
the
don't
same
care.
guy.
Is that the clip I saw where, like, when you were crying?
Mm-hmm.
There's this clip. I always feel like me and McKinley's friendship, I do want to say, me and McKinley's friendship, like, during this era was very few and far between in which we would see each other. I think we have, like, a soul tie.
Me too. It was always so good.
Yeah,
It was like
like-
I had always seen you. Like,
Yeah,
I
like,
would see you.
it's like I would see her, and I saw you, you know, for who you were, and it was even going back to, like, you starting OnlyFans, it was a shock to me.
I feel like that's
because
just who
badly
Camilla
you still
is in
business.
general.
Yeah. I woke up to a clip of you were, like, sitting in the passenger seat, and Mickey Mace was, like, in the back. And you were crying, and I remember you were like, can you just turn the cameras off? And he was like, oh, you're gonna be so glad I didn't turn the cameras off when we wake up to all these clips. And I could just see, like, the defeat in your face, just kind of like, I'm not even gonna entertain this, and like,
It's live.
But I just started it.
Like, why?
Because this is like fucking great.
Everything's great content for you.
What
I just
happened?
fucking died.
But you're alive. Let's share the story. Come on, I think we're
Fucking piece of shit.
Tomorrow, you're gonna be so happy
But,
to
like,
record this. You know that.
Maybe record it, but going live again
'Cause it
right
gets
now
clipped, you're gonna see on
doesn't
TikTok.
matter.
It
doesn't
does.
fucking matter.
I'm doing
For
this-
once, please. I'm asking, please.
If we record it, it makes it easier.
Unbelievable,
he
dude.
watched like a tear go in between her chest, and she was wearing like a tank top, and he was like, oh, zoom in right there, like, that's so W, like a tear just went down her boobs.
Yo, look at how it's going. Her tears going right between her tits. Look at that. That was a hole in one. Is this one going too late? Let me aim it. Damn it. Oh, it's going down into two. 2-3-2. Oh, I'm so sorry, I fucking love you. Come here, stop. You're so hot. Listen, there's nothing to cry about.
Yeah. It was like watching that is just like so. I'm a very emotional person. Like I almost cried a few times, but it's just like that was something that he craved from me. It wasn't, I'm not that person that will.
I'm fucking sorry. What the actual fuck was that?
Be on his live stream, like a lot of the other
You're
girls would be like
her.
and talking. I cry.
I'm happy to
I
do
feel
so.
things like really deeply.
I want you to know though, like, you're not crying because you like to cry.
No, I hate crying.
Your life almost got taken. Who wouldn't cry?
I know.
He was humiliating, embarrassing you in front of hundreds of thousands of people,
Yeah.
hurting you. Who wouldn't cry?
I know. Yeah.
That's not you being sensitive.
I know. Well, that was something that, I'm still, again, I'm working on it in therapy. I'm trying to still, because that's what I love about myself. I feel things, but I also know that I'm not a sensitive person. I'm not sensitive, but that was something
I love that you're an empath and you feel
Yeah.
love and you feel, you're right, like you genuinely feel things.
Yeah.
And I love that about you.
Yeah.
It makes you an amazing friend to confide in. It makes you an amazing personality to be on camera. And it makes you an amazing spokesperson. It makes you relatable.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that.
And I love you so deep. And I'm so unbelievably thankful that God protected you. Because I'm so glad you're here. And I love you so much.
Love you. Thank you.
So I'm sorry, you can continue. But
No, yeah.
if you want to explain that clip or like...
Yeah,
that actually wasn't
she
the
is.
that wasn't the night of the robbery, but that was
Oh, that wasn't that night.
It wasn't that night, but it also there I want to talk about like a bunch of different things, that made me emotional on camera, and sadly, was put online for people to see, because again, I'm not only dealing with Jack and his manipulation and also just like making me feel a certain way, but his community thinks like him. So it's like you have these people commenting these things that are validating him. So he feels like it's fueling him, absolutely, and it enabled his behavior as well. But the clip you were talking about of me crying, there was this situation where I had said something on camera, and that same night he misinterpreted what I had said.
Needs his fucking
it was
ass
to his
beat.
cameraman. His cameraman
Fuck
was
being
filming,
canceled.
and I said, "I don't give a fuck." That's what I remember saying, because that was something I said. I don't even know. And he said,
So, Dollface. Oh shit. Yeah, we're still on part 1. It's almost done, but I'm not doing part 2 tonight because it's over 3 hours long. They were at these events. It's called a takeover. But basically a man with a mask on with a pew while Jack and all his friends were out doing their stupid shit, came onto the bus while she was on there alone and like said out loud, like, who's on this bus? And she thought he was like there with like Jack. She thought all of them were back. So she thought it would be like a thing, like jump out, and she thought it might spook him and he'll like get off the bus or whatever. And she did, and then he came like running towards her and like put the pew to her head, and then she was basically like pleading, for her life, and was like, I'll give you whatever you want, you can take my wallet, my jewelry, everything. And he ended up taking, I think she said, her wallet, which had just like her cards and like cash and stuff in there, but it could have went way fucking south, like very fucking quickly. That alone is just traumatizing, right? Especially for her, who is such an innocent, right? Like, she hasn't experienced a lot of things in life. At this point, she's 21 years old. And for him to even put her in that position, he did not give a fuck about her. From jump, he did not give a fuck about her. The very first time that she laid next to him in bed and his friend came in and literally SA'd her and tried to rape her, and he rolled, dude, what are you doing? Get out of here. And then went to sleep. You fucking lowlife fucking piece of shit. Like, he never cared. Ever. And that, I feel like, is something very hard for people in this situation to come to grips, or like come to, it's hard for them to face that reality, because they were manipulated and led to believe that this person genuinely cared about them. And she had kind of like uprooted her entire life and invested everything, all of herself into this thing that they were building, but also this person and this relationship that she believed to be real, when in fact for him it was never real. So she had all this trust and never would have thought it's just all fucked up, and he's a fucking piece of shit. I mean, it's no wonder that fucking Santos and Brianna fucking hang out with him.
Sounded like I want to fuck. So he thought that I said that to his cameraman on camera on live stream, and it got clipped, and people were talking about it. And obviously, with streaming,
Santos probably fucking looks up to him and is like, "Yeah, that's what I want."
When they clip things and say, "Oh, she said this,"
another closet homosexual,
and say, McKinley is cheating on Jack with his cameraman. Like that was something that was going viral. So he was upset about that and calling me a whore. He was saying like, "You don't deserve me. Go fuck Michael. Like go do what you want to do." Like just horrible.
Because let me tell y'all something. I don't care what anybody says, and Jack Doherty, you can fucking eat my ass. You probably would like it. You're a closet homosexual, and you do what you do to women because you are so afraid and incapable and insecure of living in your truth that you've internalized so much of this, and you're so angry inside. This is how you release that anger. You take it out on the very thing that you resent the most. The thing that you, based on society's terms, thought this is what you would be with. But you're nothing but a fucking small dick, small man who fucking can't get shit in life except you think making fucking money and collecting fucking luxury vehicles and properties makes you somebody. But that's why your bitch ass walks around with all that fucking security, because you know somebody's going to catch you one day and you're going to get fucking curb stomped.
I was trying to defend myself and explain myself, and that night and that day of me being the sprinter, I
Pussy
started
ass
crying because he
motherfucker.
was also just validating what people were saying when he knows who I am. He knows I would never say
What a
anything like that. He
fucking
knows I would
loser.
never do anything like that, but he was playing into the narrative. So it made me feel like shit because now people think my own boyfriend doesn't even believe me, even though he lives with me and knows I would never do something like that. But I started crying, and after all the things he would say to me off camera, he would like be off the camera and bring it to my attention that day. He would just be like, I can't believe you said that. Like, that's disgusting. Like, you're a whore. And I'd be like, Jack, like I didn't say that. I don't know how to prove it to you. Like, I promise you, I would never say anything like that. But we were in the car, I start crying, and he found that very attractive. That was something that, it makes me sick. I would start crying in certain situations, and he would just say how beautiful and hot I am when I cry. It's so sexy. But I didn't feel sexy. Like, obviously when you're crying, that's the last thing you want to hear, especially like with something that your boyfriend caused. I'm like, you caused me to cry with something you did, and then you find that attractive. It's like you're trying.
That
to
was
get
his
out of me.
goal.
That's what you find attractive. You're trying to get me to cry. At that time, I'm still piecing these things together, and I think I was living every day as, okay, here's another day, and everything was so blacked out, and it made every little thing, since crazy things were happening, it made every little thing so like microscopic. It didn't matter. He could cheat on me. It didn't matter. It was for content. He got a girl to twerk on him. He would flirt with them in front of me, make me look stupid. He would buy a fucking sign at the club saying, McKinley, I'm breaking up with you, in front of a bunch of people. Just humiliation. And inviting these girls over and saying that, he wants to fuck them. And then them not knowing that I'm the girlfriend. And then, I look dumb. And I would tell him that constantly. I'd be like, you make me look dumb. And I really don't appreciate like how you make me look on camera, because you say these things off camera, but you don't act like it. And like, it's like he would have the argument, everything's different off camera, but in reality, a lot of shit was on camera. So like, how much of your life is real when it's all on camera? If that's not, if it's not your reality, then what am I doing? I'm living every single day as just.
Let me also just chime in really quickly here. This is a tactic that all of them use. We see it with Santos and Bree. We see it with Jack. We see it with a lot of these fucking creators, right? It's, oh, but this is all for show, right? This isn't who we really are. But there comes a point where maybe it's not who you were, even though I truly believe this is just who they were from jump. I think that there's some fucking wires crossed, and they're at their core just disgusting fucking people, right? But there comes a point where it crosses over from, oh, this is just like a bit for content, to, no, you're just a disgusting fucking human being who likes to cause pain and harm and trauma to people for your own personal satisfaction. And you specifically do it to women because your little fucking faggot ass is incapable of coming to terms with the fact that you like a little fucking booty hole that belongs to a man, and you could never in your wildest fucking dreams truly obtain a beautiful, intelligent, strong fucking woman like her. Because even though you thought you had her, joke's on you, motherfucker, because who got their shit and walked the fuck out? And now look at your dumbass walking around with all these fucking security guards because she's fucking outing your ass, and it's only a matter of fucking time before you get your fucking ass beat for the fucking predatorial, fucking disgusting shit that you did to her and that you've probably done to countless women. Because people like you with small dicks and small brains think that you're untouchable.
Content, like every day, every waking moment of my life is with a camera in my face and you trolling me, like you would say, and like just kidding, and you're kidding about things. Like, no, it did a lot to me. Like emotionally, it drained me. All of this created major anxiety, all while again still taking the Adderall. So at this point, I weighed 103 pounds. I had lost almost 40 pounds. I looked sick. My parents were really worried about me. They were, calling me saying,
Such a beautiful
you look
girl,
unhealthy.
too.
You look really skinny. People would hug me and be like, I feel your bones. So I was very insecure. And also he would, talk about my body and body shame me. Yeah, constantly. That was something that I dealt with that for years. He would just say like how ugly and skinny my body is and how he wishes I looked how I used to look. He would bring up my old Instagram pictures and say, I want you here. He wanted me to get a boob job so bad. And my boobs were nothing I was insecure about before, but it soon especially became an insecurity when he would bring that up to me and saying, I wouldn't have to look at other girls on the Explore page if you just got fake boobs. Like, you look nothing like me.
Jack Doherty, I know you looking like this, looking like your fucking dad fucked his cousin, look like you're fucking crossed some fucking chromosomes off, ain't talking about nobody's fucking looks, homeboy. I know good goddamn and well you, with the body of a fucking 12-year-old, ain't fucking talking about anybody's fucking looks. Bitch. Be so
I
fucking
started
for
to
real.
feel extremely insecure. I thought I was the ugliest thing that ever walked Earth. I know. I mean, that's what I was comparing myself to literally everybody and still dealing with my demons and like the battles I'm trying to fight in my head that I felt like I couldn't confide in anybody also to the fullest extent, because if you think about it, these people are
So
in the
stunning.
same boat I'm in. Like we all have the same person that's in control. All of his employees were controlled by him. So what am I supposed to do? Like talk to the people that he pays and say, hey, I feel a certain way. Like, what do you think? Like, I was terrified to do that. I knew it would get back to him. Everything I ever said got back to him. So, our entire relationship from that moment that he started the streaming, he was now a streamer, like full-time streamer. I do want to add to, like, me and McKinley were friends. Like, we were friends throughout this entire thing. And I think that it's not that we weren't friends while this was happening. It was, I think Jack purposely isolated us. Yes, I think that on purpose he would say like things like, even to my face, he knew not to fucking say some stupid shit to me, because I don't believe Jack liked me because I never really took his shit and I wasn't tolerant. He couldn't control you. Exactly. Like I didn't live in the house. When I did, I lived for maybe a month, and then that's how me and Owen met, and then me and Owen just kind of did our own thing, and we would see him few and far between. So I think that the perception that I had of him was very skewed because he could manipulate how he acted around me and Owen. And like, I was there for you. I just think he really didn't allow her. Okay, wait. He didn't.
I'll respond to you in a second.
I think he put in your head that I was a bad influence on you, is what I think. Like, I think he would tell you things that weren't true, and it gave you anxiety to text me because, like in the past we've talked about it. Like, he would check your phone, and like, God forbid, I texted you and was like, "How is everything?" Yeah, he told me how it was. Like, it wasn't that she didn't want to call me. I think it was just like you were literally scared to. I couldn't, even to my parents. I want to also add in that I wasn't talking to my parents during all of this. I was dealing with the horrible relationship, and every time I would be on the phone with my parents, I kept in contact with them. I would never lose contact with them. They're my freaking saviors. I love my parents. I've always been so close to them. I love them so much. So that's why they were confused as to why like I wasn't coming home and I was, there for that long, because I also want to say when I came back from Vegas, I did not go home once. I stayed. Because every time I would say I needed to leave, he would actually tell me that he would just cheat on me. And I knew when I went back to Coachella what he had done, and I was like, I don't want him to cheat on me. Like, I'll just stay here. And he instilled that fear in me. I don't know if he would have done that, but it definitely worked. Like, I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave his sight because I was like, well, if I leave, then he'll probably cheat on me. And that's not healthy. Like, I'll never do that again. If I feel like I have to be with you constantly to make sure and watch you to make sure you're not doing anything, that's like insane. But he did isolate me and had now financial dominance. Yes. Like, right now that the OnlyFans is happening, all these viral, traumatic, fucked up moments were happening. The fear of, okay, well, not only will I lose, it began with, I don't want to lose my friends and my boyfriend, to wait, he has a lot of financial control, to wait, hold on, I just built so much here. Like, if I leave, I'm afraid I'm going to lose everything. Like, yes. I think he's been instilling that for a while. Beginning. For sure. He made me always believe that I was very easily replaceable and that I held him back from things. That was something, he was like, I love you and all, but like, I kind of wish I met you like later in life because, I could be out at the club and like with a new girl every day. And I was like, well, I'm not forcing you to be with me. Like, I remember I told him, I was like, you don't have to if that's what you...
With a new girl at the club every day doing what? You didn't even get so much as a blow job in a year and a half. You fucking fag.
It's like I would never want someone to be with me if
Shut
they
your
didn't want to be
gay
with me.
ass
And he's like,
up.
well, no, I want to be with you. But that was always a
Stupid.
factor. I was really worried about the cheating because he had cheated on me a few times.
Goofy
even in our
ass,
relationship,
dumb
which I
ass
found out, like, later on in our
motherfucker.
relationship, and I was fully 100% loyal, and
Fucking
that's what hurt
clown.
me a lot. We had already built this relationship, and
Hello.
me finding out that he had done things that I wasn't aware of, and finding that out later on after we got stronger, it just was like, well, we had already built so much together that like that would have been a problem then, but now that it's been so long, it's not a problem. And like,
Always is a problem.
it definitely always is a problem.
Like you mentioned previously, like the big traumatic things that happened to you, like the major events made the littlest things he did, like cheating on you and like the signs of the club and stuff like that, so little.
Yes.
When was the beginning of the end? Like when did everything change?
No, she talked about it. She talked about it. Thank you for the heart, me. Wow. This is crazy. Oh, shit. Oh. Yeah, that was a lot. Sorry, I'm turning around. That was a lot. No, actually, Taylor. I mean, I forget. I remember seeing a clip a while ago of like how he got his first like bit. I mean, we'll do it tomorrow. I might break it up into 2 parts because it's like over 3 hours long. So I might do like an hour and a half. One, it's just a long time. 2, it's a really heavy topic, not just for me, but for a lot of y'all. And like, yes, I've experienced these topics. And I hope y'all understand what I mean when I say this, but it is very much different for men than it is for women. And also it's very much different hearing these experiences coming from another woman because of how relatable it can feel. And how triggering that can be. So I would rather take breaks, and like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't need to be like a rushed, I don't know. It's a heavy thing. It's a fucking heavy topic, and I don't want anybody to feel like they are, because they want to be there and experience me like giving feedback or whatever. I don't want them to feel like, well, I have to stay or I need to stay because I need to hear what he's going to, what his commentary or whatever they feel. I don't want them to feel that they need to be here for me, for like for any of that. Like, this doesn't have to be fucking rushed. I mean, I don't have any proof Texas girl, but I'm going to say right now that's a fucking homosexual, and he's fucking insecure, and he's mad that he can't live in his truth. For whatever reason, he could very easily come out as gay and live a very normal life. But for some reason, men like him have it embedded in him. And it very much comes from like, either probably like where he grew up, or it's also just a mindset that he feels the need to like prove himself to everyone around him, to society. And I think he thinks that he wouldn't be as successful as he is or have obtained the things that he's obtained if he had come out as gay. But I fully believe that he most definitely is. Let me explain something to you. Men like that who harm women in the way that these men are harming these women, it is almost a telltale sign that those men are struggling with homosexuality. Guaranteed. I've experienced, I could list over 100 that I personally have had been in a situation with when my younger teen and early 20s, before I met Cuckoo in there. It's a very common thing. And they take that anger and resentment out on the woman usually, because the woman is who they view as like the weaker and more vulnerable right? It's easier for them to gain control over that person because the way society has framed things, there's a dominance that we automatically apply to the man over a woman, right? And so for a lot of women, they just naturally, because of what women are taught from such a young age, and I'm glad that we're shifting, I think, as a society, and women are starting to take back that power that men have tried to hold over them their entire literally since the beginning of time, right? I mean, go back to like biblical times. We blame like the fall of like society on women because some woman supposedly bit a fucking apple. The fuck are you talking about, bitch? And so I think that people like him, they see, and because of the industry that he's in, is I don't know what that means. I don't know what that emoji is. Because of the industry that he's in, and he knows a lot of times what kind of women or young girls are coming to him. I'm screaming, Star, shut the fuck up. He knows that they're looking for that inside connection and that person who already has the success that can give them that boost into stardom or fame or fortune or whatever it is that they're seeking, probably all of the above. And so that's what they do, is they build that trust. They make these people believe, these women, these young girls believe that, they are the ones who can save them, right? And he did that from jump with the whole essay with his friend situation. Even though he didn't, but he did. It was a very fucking manipulative way of doing it, right? Because in reality, he just told his friend, get the fuck out of here, and then went to sleep. Like, didn't even check, or like, one, check to make sure the friend left. Two, didn't even ask, check to make sure this girl was okay, whether she was his girlfriend or not. And there's something that I want to kind of I guess end this part on is, I don't care what people's opinions are of McKinley and what her motives could have potentially been and what she was trying to gain. There is never a time in a woman's existence that it is ever fucking okay to fucking physically and sexually assault a woman. Period. End of sentence. There is no, I don't care if she's throwing herself at you. I don't care if you think she's wearing a certain fucking outfit. I don't care if you think, oh, this is what she wants because if I give her this, or man, yeah. Thank you, Mama Amanda. Or man. I don't care what the circumstance is. There is never a moment in a person's life that part is okay. Ever. So I just want to be abundantly clear for the people, the naysayers, or the people out there who are like, oh, but, she knew what she was getting into, or she was there for, she had, ulterior motives. Like she wanted in the industry and she wanted to be famous and she wanted to be that. Okay, great. So she was a woman with fucking goals and wanted to be successful. Does that mean she deserved to be fucking assaulted? Does that mean that she deserved to have a fucking pew-pew held to her fucking head while her boyfriend is out there fucking, and then immediately after, while she's trying to wrap her mind around what the fuck just happened, have a camera shoved in her face and literally fucking degraded and mocked for the fact that there's tears rolling down her face? And oh, but you didn't die, so tell the fucking story right now on this live stream. What? And I know that this gets 10 times worse in part 2. I just know it. I know it has to. Which is, again, why I'm not going to start that tonight. We finished part 1. I think that was enough for everybody. Thank you for the gifts. And, yeah. No. I just think it is too much. I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot. So, wait, who, Dominique? Really quickly before I do end up, oh, I don't know. Probably asleep. Probably under the bed or, oh yeah, and I totally forgot about this candle. And we all missed it. CJ, I'm screaming. I mean, I thought he was very nice. A very interesting character. And yeah, I mean, I'm always excited to see somebody who fucking hates Santos, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah. So that's just, oh, sorry, there was one thing I needed to cover because I received a DM of, I guess, something else that's going on that was said tonight. That fucking weird ass Heather girl, the one who made up the fact that she was sent a picture of Santos at the airport or whatever, I guess she said that I'm the one that sent her that. Let me be abundantly fucking clear. You fucking crazy ass, cuckoo ass, fucking weird ass fucking bitch. Ain't nobody, Renee, thank you so much. Ain't nobody over here ever fucking sent you a goddamn thing. You're a motherfucking liar. And you need to fucking come to grips with reality. And I understand that you're sitting over there with the island of misfit fucking toys and you think you found like solidarity and you think that like they're gonna have your back. Ma'am, let me explain something to you. I've been dealing with these people for a year and they will fucking turn on you the very fucking second that they get. They don't support you. Also, you made that entire situation up. You never received a photo from anyone. You wanted to be someone in this community, and in doing so, you shot your own self in the foot because you thought it was going to make you somebody. But nobody here likes a fucking lying bullshitter, and that's all you've done since you've been here. So shut the fuck up and make up a lie about somebody else, because I'm not the 1 or the 2. Probably not the 3 or the 4 either. Actually, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, and 10 off the table. Okay? Yeah. So, I don't know. That's all I'm addressing as far as that whole situation goes. If you got muted tonight, it was because you came in here and you brought up whatever fucking weird ass live is going on. I don't care. Don't bring that shit to me. You got muted tonight. You'll probably get blocked on the next go round. Because I don't have time to address fucking down bad bottom feeders who are literally obsessed with me. Like, I'm famous and they need me to exist. So I just want to put that out there. Like, don't bring that shit to me. Don't message me. Don't send me videos. I don't care. I have somebody that is handling all of that, and that'll all be dealt with. Literally will be dealt with. But thank you to my fans out there who live stream me every single night and literally talk about me even when I'm not on the internet. Shout out to you. Y'all are real ones. I love all the extra overtime that you guys are putting in. You know, caution female, I have no idea. You would have to go ask these people because they swear I'm fucking, I don't know, fucking Victoria Beckham, the way that they fucking stay on literally on my asshole, and document every single thing that I fucking do and live stream every single live and record they are obsessed and in love. But I love that journey for them. So good luck and God bless. But I'm not going to address it. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. I genuinely don't. Like, there's nothing that they can do or say that I am interested in. So if you send it to me, I'm going to block you. And that goes for anyone. Isn't what isn't what I do to others. Please let them answer before we block. Star and Moon Girl. Fucking stupid ass name. Yeah, like you have like 10 seconds to fucking answer. I'm not mad. Mad about what? Listen, I just need to explain something to you. I'm assuming you're a grown-ass adult. You are so fucking afraid to say things with your whole fucking chest that you have to go into people's lives under a fake name with a fake profile picture as if you're a fucking weird-ass fucking child named Star and Moon Girl because you are such a pathetic human being that you think you're going... That you of all people... So, I'm gonna tell you once, you stupid fucking cunt, get the fuck out of my life and go get on another fucking account that's not your name or a photo of you because you're a pussy-ass little fucking bitch. Love that journey for us. Shy Girl, I always drop a lot of F-bombs, you know what I mean? The other one can go too. Whatever her name was. Yeah, this one. Oh shit, I'm falling. Caution, female. Toodles, babe. Have fun. Anyway, this has been so lovely. Hi, Kim. How are you? This has been so lovely. Oh yeah. Shy Girl, haven't you heard? That's what they're upset with me for because I use the word cunt. I call them cunts. And that's like apparently forbidden in this world. Well, don't act like a cunt. I won't call you a cunt. Yeah, girl. Dude, I was on live all day. The fuck? Again, I told y'all it has to make sense for me. And it's not making... The numbers aren't... The math isn't mathing. So, unfortunately, yeah, I'm about to leave. I'm probably take a nice bath. No, I've already said I'm not doing part 2 tonight. It's 12:30 at night. I was on live for 6 hours straight earlier, and I had just come off an almost 2-hour live. So almost 8 hours straight. And that part 2 is over 3 hours. Yeah, 6 hours long, right. I'm not saying that means I won't pop back on after I, you know. Yeah, if you missed this morning's live with, I got to talk to Red Pill, I forget his full name. Betty, I was on way earlier, almost right after you messaged in the Discord. And asked if I was doing a live, probably like 10 minutes later. I've been on for several hours now. Okay, well, I just got a restriction, so we're dipping. Everyone have a lovely night. Bye.